And we're live. Welcome back, everybody. Dipcatcher Radio back again. What an exciting day it was. I mean, I guess today, if we are thinking in the same days as the contract, which is UTC days. So the day that started last evening, if you're in the United States, the first annual base stake ended, earned about 12% on its hex, came out to 112 million. And in the first day, we saw a lot of people redeeming. They're probably, I think what a lot of it has to do is just people that were holding it and maybe weren't selling because it was doing so soon, just kind of waiting to realize their gains and potentially even move coins over to Pulse Chain. Again, these it's entirely at the discretion of whoever holds the base keys can do whatever they want with their coins. So yesterday we saw some winding down. My guess is that the minting will pick up towards the end of it, because it's like, people, if they've been waiting to redeem, maybe they're a little bit urgent with it. And honestly, I think a lot of it has to do, I was kind of tapping around, just seeing what people are doing. There are people selling their hex. And I think what that means is that just in a bear market, people are selling things that are liquid to them. And so when new liquidity comes out, kind of like when Pulse Chain launched, people got their coins, it's liquid, and now they have access to that liquidity. And so there's a lot of selling. I think in this case, a similar thing with the lockup. So for that category of users, I think something like 27% of the treasury had been redeemed, which is awesome. It shows that it works, shows that everything is working smoothly. The Diamond Hand period, they earned about 5% on their Diamond Hand if you account for the value of the team that they got, which was the majority of the rewards for Diamond Hand staking. And so all in all, awesome first year experience. Everything worked exactly as expected. And now we wait till the 9th when the stake will begin. Something really awesome happened that I want to give an account named Hex Payday a shout out. Let me pull up the thread. Let's go ahead and read through Hex Payday's thread. Someone tag them on Twitter, tell them that we're discussing what they did, because if you look at the end stake transaction, you'll see that it was bundled with a number of other stakes. And so this is something that a team has been working on, where kind of another way to approach getting lower gas fees for ending a stake, where with the base stake, it's 1,000 users pile in and there's a single stake transaction that represents all of them. So in a lot of ways, what we're doing is it's kind of like an account. It could be considered account abstraction. That's a popular topic in the wallet space, especially with these new EIPs that allow for even more efficient account abstraction. It's where the wallet itself is really just a smart contract, and then that you and potentially other users kind of all have an account in. And so so ours is more on that approach, where each user contributed hex, and it was all done in a single stake. So about 1,000 users got to experience that single stake together. Whereas with the Hex Payday approach, what it is it's using something that has to do with how the blocks, like how the smart contract and the EVM calculate how much gas is actually consumed by a contract. And so if you process a number of stakes in the same block, that means that you can cause the stake to not cost as much gas to end. So we'll go through there. He shows kind of the benchmark of base by itself versus base ending with alongside other stakes, and just to kind of see what that breakdown is. But let's go ahead and share my screen, and we'll read his post. All right, so let's read it out. Hexpayday says, some of you may have noticed that one of the largest stakes of 100 million hex was recently ended. Base's end stake is the first of its kind to end and will most definitely not be the last. Some of you may have also noticed that numerous HSIs ended along with the base end stake transaction. This may come as a surprise to you, but this is not the first transaction to end multiple hex stakes in one transaction. There have been 5 others. However, unlike previous transactions, by all appearances, this was no accident. So this has happened just like coincidentally when 2 people submit their end stake function at the same time. They got to experience, like in this case, because the S load cost I think is only 1 or 2,000 instead of or 1 or 200 instead of 2,100. You get to experience some gas fee savings because it's the first time that a entry is read that is the bulk of the cost. Then each follow-on entry is cheaper, and that's on a per block basis. And so times in the past where just coincidentally a single block has had numerous hex stakes in it, that those users got to experience a lower cost for ending their stake. And I'll have to look more into it. I wonder if it's just the second user who gets to experience that, or if it's the first. Or I don't really know how the gas usage is distributed in that case. So maybe Hexpayday can chime in with like who actually experienced the gas fee savings on these ones where it's coincidental, and even with like which stake experienced it. So he says, a few months ago, this tweet emerged. I just created 6 hex stakes ending on the same day. I'm going to attempt to end all 6 as well as the base stake in the same transaction. At this point, it appears that it will be most efficient end stake of all time. So I hadn't even seen that tweet. I wish I would have seen it. And it's kind of good because originally my plan was to create an end stake gas pool, which actually I think we'll talk about that in a second. At the same time, 6 new stakes emerged on chain. Those stakes were held by 6 separate HSI contracts, which were owned by a single account for the duration of the next few months. So here you can see their HSIs. The idea was to show on chain that multiple end stakes ended together were less expensive to end per stake than single hex end stakes. The inspiration for this idea came from a tweet from myself. I said, with the base stake ending in about 7 months, it will soon be time to deploy the gas pool contract. This will let anyone pitch in any amount of ETH or other ERC20s, which will be claimable by whomever runs the end stake function on the base contract when the time comes. So my original plan was to create a end stake gas pool, but because the base stake was only a year long, and because the gas fees themselves are very small right now on ETH and of course on Pulse Chain. When I went to actually go deploy this, I'm looking at the cost for me to deploy it and then the estimated cost that I thought it would be to end it. I'm like, well, shit, like if I'm going to spend, $12 deploying this contract, maybe I'll just send $12 to whoever does just end up ending it. Because the whole purpose of the gas pooling is for if it's like inhibitively expensive to end and people know it, then people can kind of grease the wheel a little bit by sending in some coins that then the person who can end it then can claim. But with this one, because it was so small, I didn't think it would take much, greasing of the wheels. I figured someone would just run it. So I chose not to end it, which is actually good because, then someone else just kind of did almost a similar thing but kind of in a different approach. So Hexpayday says, in short, if hex stakes could be publicly ended, why couldn't everyone just stake in a contract and get EIP 2929 cash to read lower pricing? So this is like another approach to experiencing savings, where let's look at the EIP 2929 cash. Let's just see what we're looking for is the S load, the hot S load versus the cold S load. So here we go. So cold S load cost. So that's what you normally pay. And then warm storage read is 100. So it comes out to about 100 over 2100. So you pay about 5%. So the first stake costs the normal amount, but then each additional stake only tacks on an additional 5% cost. So that's one way to get lower pricing on the hex stakes, especially if you were too late to join the base stake and you wanted to end. You could end in there, and then you would experience some amount smaller. So the savings wouldn't be the same as if you were just holding base, but they are good savings as well. So but in that case, your stake wouldn't be liquid. And you obviously couldn't be in the diamond hand system, or so kind of those different trade-offs. And I think which is what he was talking about down below. So he said, after a few hundred commits and iterations in the contract, which is still very much in beta, the time came to start integrating with real-world examples. Solo stakers are first up. If no one wants to end a stake with you, what would it cost? Turns out 30k gas less to restart the stake than it would otherwise cost in 2 transactions. Solo hex stake restarts at 30k less gas than stopping and restarting in the original hex contract. Okay, so he says here, so even by simply using the contracts, even if you don't signal consent for others to end your stakes, you end up paying less gas. Okay, so in addition to bundling end stakes in the hex payday contract, you can also end a stake and start it in the same transaction. So that's pretty cool. Later, code started emerging in the hex to attempt to end the base stake and at the same time end multiple HSIs. Okay, so it looks like this is for like new stakes going forward. You can kind of tap into this. So I guess probably like what that means is that if people are going to solo stake, they if you all ended around the same, like, because all the perpetuals are kind of paving the way, like it's a big group that's already going to be worth ending. So that's interesting. A few days ago, the contracts were launched as audit was complete. Approval was given to the stake manager. Then all 6 HSIs were transferred in one transaction. Okay, so it looks like it takes possession of all the HSIs and then ends them because it has to be the owner. The operations transfer HSI to a stake manager contract, burn HSI token to take ownership over underlying HSI contract, link ownership of HSI to sender. Usually a series would cost 6 times 12 times 6 plus these other numbers, 2 million units, 12 transactions you have to sit through. Instead, it only cost 881. Okay, so their contract saved about 50%, a little more than 50% on the gas for doing that same operation. So that's pretty good, 55%. A few hours later, the hex day ticked over and the following transaction was mined. So here you can see it looks like they also ran the mint hedron function. So that's cool. To get that last bit of hedron. So thank you. There was always uncertainty if that very last day that it was eligible to run would actually be ran, because if someone went and just end staked right away, they could would not have the there's nothing forcing that hedron to be run on that very last day. So it looks like they did, which is awesome. It had been run the day before, and you can see it's a very small amount, but what if it goes 100,000x? So similar transaction was observed on Pulse Chain, but without the HSIs, it cost 1 million GWay because only the base. So that's a pretty, so base stake alone cost 1 million. These 6 stakes together cost, what was it? 2 million. So it's pretty good because the base stake on its own, because as I wasn't sharing my screen, but so this is what he's talking about. So the first stake in a block costs 2,100 base units. Don't worry about what this is, but there's something that is multiplied every single day for the stake duration, And if it's the first stake that's doing that go round calculation, it costs 2,100 units per day. Whereas if another stake is undergoing the same transaction, then in that same block, then it only costs 100 units per day for that. So the first go around is expensive, and each additional go around is inexpensive. And so by kind of piggybacking on the base stake ending, or any other, base is really just what he's describing here is a publicly endable stake. So, they were able to tag along with that and reduce their own costs. So that's an awesome use case. Like, not only does the base stake, being a publicly endable stake, and all the other perpetuals and maxi, like, not only did these save gas fees for the people participating, it also saves gas fees for people who just tag along to that same block. So this is a really awesome use case for base. Because like with base, you have high certainty that because many people are pooled together, that someone may, take action to end it promptly. You can, bundle into that and experience some of those savings. So this is amazing. I'm very, very pleased that this is happening. By comparing the two costs, we can see the difference so 1 million gas to use for the HSI stakes and Hedra mints. How does it play out when it's one stake is ended and the HSI self-destructed one at a time? We can see in a recent single HSI hex end stake that a single end stake with the same day served cost 279. Single end stake with the same day served cost 279, 740 to end, and 67 to mint Hedron, which have done 6 times individually, requires 2 million gas, meaning the transaction saved 50%. So by doing this, they were able to save about 50% on their own stakes, which is pretty good. So, a base user, if everyone, base users, I guess, saved 100%, right? Because they didn't pay anything. No, especially because, Hex Payday was the one that paid for the end stake. So all 1,000 regular, so I don't, so he probably does have base if he's doing this. So, so one base user paid the stake on behalf of everyone. So one base user paid a nominal amount to end the stake, and then the remaining, there are about 1,000 plus or minus, 1,100, I think, users, but say 1,000. So 999 base users paid nothing. So they experienced 100% gas fee savings. And then Hex Payday bore the cost, and by doing that was able to save costs by about 50% on his other stakes. So this is amazing. At the end of the day, by ending the 6 HSIs this way, as well as a total of 1 million gas was saved, or 32% saved. So they experienced 32% savings by tagging along. That's awesome. On a per day level, this means that the stake range of 369 had 837 day S loads packed into it, and 468 of those were cached, making it the most efficient end stake thus far on a shared day basis. Look at that. However, these are inefficient transactions which use HSIs. The optimized end stake shows for a set of 7 end stakes 63% savings over 90-day stakes and 75% savings over a 3-6-90-day stake. However, if more people join in, that number can start approaching. While we think that hex pools are great, there are a variety of reasons why someone may wish to stake on their own, including they missed the lockup window, they bought more hex, are DCAing or creating ladder, they brought bridged asset and want to stake it. I do not see this as a competing protocol to pooled stakes. I think they are great and people should absolutely use them, especially for big payday. I also think that there are a variety of other reasons why someone may wish to start a stake by themselves or with their own configuration. That being said, I hope that all stake pooling providers will implement features like this or use these contracts directly. And stakes are poised to cost hexagons millions of dollars per year, and we can easily reduce that volume by working together. Also, if pooling protocols can become popular enough, they could start ending multiple stakes a day. This protocol allows for gas optimization to occur in that scenario. Staking directly with Hex requires you to roll your own each time and a new contract set is launched. If you're a protocol or dev, please reach out if you need help integrating information, if information is missing in the docs. File an issue in the contracts repo. If you find a bug in the UI, fix it and learn some Svelte.js. Will you do it? We'd love to improve the Hex staking experience of any wallet or front end. And anyone who may be building front ends for other things, even in secret, please DM. Also reach out if you're able to and wish to provide funding for public goods like this one. If you can't provide funding, then a like and retweet goes a long way. Thanks to everyone who had input, especially Tonto, Alex, and for the suggestions and encouragement from others. There's a lot more to come, including many upgrades to the DApp. Drop a like, retweet. So this is pretty awesome. How to exit base from pool if you don't want to continue. So just go to the perpetuals.maximus.cash site and then click redeem. Dippy, what football position do you play? Wide receiver. And Golkey also wide receiver, but we also can both play quarterback. And usually when we play in football in a like passing, flag football, two-hand touch setting, we just smash everyone because we'll just alternate quarterback, receiver in this drill that we've done. We probably ran over in our lifetime, just literally playing. We call it 5 minutes of football, but it's a game where we literally just run routes. We probably ran over 1,000 miles via running routes, and we both just like alternate QB, receiver, and so, but definitely receiver. I'm actually certain that I have better hands than any other Hexagon. No gloves, just bare hands, because I have massive thumbs. My thumb is especially long, and just like nice suppleness. Like my hands just have the right texture for gripping a football. So can we create pool party stake for the days we have HSI ending and experience saving? Yeah. So now that there's going to be a bunch of Hex stakes starting a pool party, like these can be done in this way. So I'm definitely going to reach out and see how we can do that, because that's awesome. Like this may be the solution to the end state gas pooling. Like this is an awesome solution. Take a look at what's going on Ethereum for the base stake. So definitely seeing a lot of redeeming. I think in the first couple of days, it'll probably be redemption heavy. And then in the tail end, we'll see more pledging. Let's see. So I want to filter the method. Okay, let's see. So these are all the pledges. So that's pretty cool. I'll often make some charts that show the actual like kind of inputs and outputs. But so far we've mainly seen redemptions. because here, let's add a filter here, age. So last 24 hours, I'll tell us. So today, so it's been active for about, I don't know, 15 hours, 16 hours. And so 30 users have pledged. Let's see how much has been diamond handed into the next year. I guess we can just go to the dashboard and look at it. So on Ethereum, so there's 84 million hex currently in there. Let's take a look at the diamond hands. So going into stake period 2, we have 6 million base staked into year 2. So that comes, so what is that? That's like a little less than 6% of the total amount from the initial stake. And also 6, and of the current amount of total base. So 6 over about 85, that's about 7%. So far so Diamond Hand seems to have some good participation. So let's see what it was. So there was 22 million diamond handed in the first year. So far, just after less than 24 hours, we have about a quarter of the amount of base diamond handed. So we'll see how the remaining week plays out. Golki says make a chart. All right, let's do a tutorial on how to read information from the blockchain. Or actually, I'll just do it right here. I'll do it on this step. I don't need to make a new dep. I'll just do it in a new page. It's pretty funny, just how much better I am at writing dApps than I was a year ago when this dApp came out. So sometimes my old stuff can be hard for myself to work with, but Anvil makes it pretty easy. Okay, so here we go. Edit. So I want to make sure I'm on my editing branch. So let's create a new form. Blank panel. We're going to call this just minting data. So what we need to do is we need to get the minting events. So first we're going to just go to our main page and see how we're pulling in the contracts. This is going to be the open page. Actually, you know, I'm going to do this separate from, I'll make this available offline. So you know, because I'm going to make it offline, I'm just going to do it in my normal, I'll do it from scratch. Because the way I like to do it is I prefer to have just pull the ABIs and contract addresses. Oh. So usually what I like to do is I like to make a data table where I store the contract data. So ABI, address, and then name. Okay, so we'll call this contracts. Make sure it's readable from the code or from the client code. And let's make sure that it's not going to get accidentally updated. We'll do all the updating directly here in the interface. So I would search Maximus base, your scan, and then I'll pull the contract address from right here, just paste it in, and then the ABI. Just copy it straight from Etherscan. Name, base. So now here's what we need to do. I'm just going to go to my other apps to get it, but so usually I just go to, I have my existing apps with just what I need. What we're going to import are the ethers.js library. This shows a really cool part of Anvil where you can, we'll bring in these fonts too. Those are nice fonts. Bringing it from other apps. So you go to this native library section because we need to use the ethers.js library. And so here we just paste that in, and we pasted in some nice fonts from some of the other apps. So this is the ethers.js library we're using. So now when we want to access it, so here we're just going to we'll make this be the, we're just going to make a general purpose blank page. So we're just going to call this main. So we're going to create that as our startup form. So now we want to import anvil.js. That's Anvil's JavaScript controller. And from anvil.js, import js.window, import ethers. Okay. So now we're going to make a function called so get providers, and what we're going to do is we're going to say provider, so self.providers equals blank dictionary, self.providers eth equals, that's going to be something, and self.providers pls equals something. So we're just going to go look at my existing code sample. And just here, we're just going to paste it from here. So here's how I do it in my other apps. Ethers.providers, so we need to provide that. So here, let's just go up here. We're going to say URLs equals the thing. So URLs. Hear my dog whining. URLs PLS equals HTTPS rpc.pulsechain.com URLs eth equals let's get my RPC, one of them. Okay. So we're just going to do self.get providers. Or we'll call it update providers. Okay, so now we have those provider functions. So what else do we need to do? Let's do def get events. Okay. So here's what we're gonna have to. Here, let's think this through. You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna just do. We're gonna do this through ChatGPT. So we're gonna say to do write a get all the transactions that were done through a function called actually, so get all transactions that were either to or from the 0 address. So that'll actually tell us all the minting and redemption. That's probably the simplest thing. So turn events. And so now what we're going to do is make another function. So it's called build charts. And so we're going to say events equals self.get. Go. Yeah. Good. Very good. Okay. So let's just do self.build charts. Here, we're just going to copy and paste all this. We're actually just going to copy it in ChatGPT. We're going to say C to do. New chat, paste. Actually, I'm going to type in something else. So get events base address equals, so base contract, base equals app tables dot contracts dot get name equals base ABI equals base data ABI. I'm going to call it base. Simple. Base ABI equals base ABI. Base address equals base address. So base contract equals ethers.contract. Base address, base ABI. Provider is going to be self.providers. So here we're going to pass in chain. We'll start with PLS, but then this is just to get the function right, and then we can do it for chain. And then so now we're going to want to get all the transactions, get all the base transactions since block number. Let's go back to that tweet thread and figure out what the block number was. So as of block number, this as of block, so we'll call it from block, more familiar. Oh, I don't need that extra 5 at the end. So here, just writing, we're giving the AI our prompts so we can just get this. Usually stuff that has to do with like transaction events. It's just easier for me to just do it like this. And then, but after a few times, I won't have to like ask AI. I'll just know how to do it or have my own code samples to reference. But here's how we can do it. We don't even, just type in on C to do. Okay, so it's just to fetch events. You need to use get logs method from Ether's JS provider. So here's how it's literally typing my code for me. So it's pretty cool. So this is what the AI just produced. Let's go back to our thing. And then let's try to see if it works. Oh wow, so so looks like we can't filter. All right, let's see if this works. See what happens here. Anvil.js. Okay, so Anvil.js. Little things like that. It tries to do Anvil.server.await promise, but it needs to do Anvil.js.await promise. That's easy. I mean, it looks like it's running because it's not doing anything. So it must be working. Let's see. Didn't throw an error yet. It means it's running. Hasn't printed yet. This may be an inefficient way to read it, but it's okay. I just joined. We getting this on ETH Fair too. If you really want on ETH Fair, go to the ETH Fair block explorer and then just end the stake there. So if someone goes and ends the stake there on ETH Fair and then sends me the transaction hash, I'll add it there. Okay, it returned a blank thing. So let's see what's here. Let's just do this. So let's just print log so we can debug here a little bit, see what's going on. Okay, so we just need to sort through this. So we're just going to say parse log equals, and then let's just put a comment there. We're going to print the parse log. You know, I'm going to prompt it with something else. I'm going to try something else. I'm going to say to do the transfer, because I want the transfer events, which I think I can. All right, let's see. Query filter. Okay, so I'm actually asking ChatGPT. I think there's a more efficient way we can do this. So let's see, prints log. Let's just see what's available in parse log. If there's an easy way to do it, we will. But right now in the background, while I'm trying to sort through this first attempt at reading this information, the AI on the background is literally rewriting it using a different. Okay, so let's see what this. So we might rewrite it. Let's see. Args. Okay, so let's see what these parse log args are. Let's print parse log args. Okay, so that's actually a fine way to do it. That's not too slow, and that does what we want. So let's see. So from 0 to that. Okay, so here events, and then we're going to do event. So event equals that. We're going to say event so here we're actually going to do mints equals a blank list and redeems equal a blank list. We're going to say event. So okay, so parse log. So here we got the parse log. We have args. So args equals parse log args. And then from here we can see that it's like probably here, let's just do this. We'll double check. We'll see if this person did a redemption function. Well, actually, I think here, we'll actually do it on ETH. It's a little easier because just the block explorer is a little bit easier to check. So let's yeah. I think it's from too. Let's just, actually, we can look it up. Let's see. Transfer, then transfer index from indexed to, indexed from indexed to. So from to is the order, from to value. So we have from, so f equals arg 0, 2 equal args 1, value equal args 2.2 string int. So that's like a raw value. We'll format the value later. So if f, so from equals 0 address, it's going to be, so if the from sender is the 0 address and it's sending you base, that means that's a mint. So mints.append event so we're going to say, so in this case, so event is going to be a blank guy. We're going to say if f is a 0 address, event user equals key, and then that means that they are minting the amount base equals, so here give it amount hex equals I guess one way we can do that is we can, so first we're going to need to pull the base redemption rate. So base redemption rate equals base contract dot, let's see what the name of it is in the contract. Hex redemption rate. Hex redemption rate to string int. So we have our base redemption rate. Okay, so that number is always the number of base. So if that is hex per base, we need to multiply the value by, so that value is in base, so the amount of hex is always going to be V times base redemption rate, because that is hex per base. And if it's hex per base times base, that gives us a hex value, and we have to divide it by the scalar that we know exists. That's the raw hex units. Amount base is V, amount hex is H. So does log have a block? See if it has a block number associated. So let's see. Okay, there we go. Events equal that. Events. Nice. Okay, so let's also add log.block number. Also have timestamp. I think we can calculate that. So block number equals log block number block. Okay, so now we're gonna say how convert block number to timestamp ether.js. That's set to the AI. That's loading. So we need to do the get block. Oh wow! Before I even asked it, it knew to say in the context of your Amble app. Okay, so here we'll do the timestamp here. Import this at the top.
The setup.
Look, we got a special guest on the channel. Oh, you can't even see the camera. Camera not even showing. We got a very special guest. Who could it possibly be? Hey. Golkey in the house.
Back again, y'all.
Here to celebrate the base steak ending.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
Just getting the dogs all riled up.
Oh. Mm.
If you have any questions for either me or Golkey, let us know. We'll probably be on stream for just a little while longer. We got some outdoor activity planned. Get out in the sun today, you guys. Winter is almost here. It's not going to last. All right, let's see if this works.
You making the charts?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
My shit's a mess. I did not clean. Paul asks, what ID is this? Python is dope. This is Anvil. I'm probably the #1 unpaid Anvil ambassador. I freaking love Anvil. Pulling out some data on the different chains. So I've been using Canva for the thumbnails because it has an integration with ChatGPT.
Did you make?
Yeah, it's like
Oh wow!
Just these different templates, and then I just drop in. You can like drop in images.
So
It's actually really nice.
This is she's got to be. What's she weigh now?
40 pounds.
40. How much sauce do you wear?
I don't think anyone's even seen that dog.
Really?
Yeah.
From here? Were you hiding her?
No, I just.
Monkey.
Okay, looks like it's working. Let's see. RH is 2 extra large gentlemen on stream today. Yeah, he's looking thick. Look at that. That guy hits the gym 3 times a day.
It's Pumptober, dude.
Need you both on stream with me for found. Is that this week? Shit, let's do it. Let's do it today.
now I have a camera. I was like,
what were you using before?
well, I have my laptop, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if this laptop can stream. Let's see.
Okay, let's see. Look at these sweet girls. Some of them been getting reps in for Pump Oktoberfest. Yeah. So, all right, live on the air, we got Golke. He's about to do 100 curls with 30-pound weights.
100 mocha curls.
All right, it's taking a long ass time. Maybe there's a more efficient way. Oh, my camera's not even on. Epic deal. I heard Golke wrestling the dog. Yeah. You're going crazy.
Mocha. No. Be nice to your sister. No.
Dude, they're crazy. They're just training for the Ultimate Dog Fighter Championships. 69 jumping jacks, and I'll buy some of the favorite Maximus coins today. The year flew by. Praise the base. Appreciate the work, y'all. I wonder which one's getting more activity. They looked about the same. Okay, so while this is running, we can start putting the chart together.
Hey. No. No. No.
Okay, looks like we got that. That's cool. So
there's 82.3 million hex on Pulse Chain, 84 million on ETH,
74 million supply.
Yeah, but I mean, hex is easier to understand.
Yeah, I bet we'll see like a dip in the number on the first 2 days, and then it'll climb back up.
Yeah. So the number one holder on ETH is a smart contract. That's the
Diamond hand.
Diamond hand from 1.
Yeah. Well, both.
Oh, we use both.
Still holds 20 million. So that means that, so I know 6 million has been staked into the second year. So that means that, 14 million is still pending there from the last year. Then the second largest is OX26. They have 11% of the supply.
Wow. Pulse Chain Bridge has 2.2 million. So there's still a lot of base on Pulse Chain.
All right, let's do this. We're gonna pull the. Well, we have the data. I think we might build the chart in a little bit. All right, you guys. We're gonna take a break from streaming for just a minute. Might get back on later today. Who knows? Thanks for joining us, and shout out Hex Payday for bundling Basin with his other stakes and paying for the fee on behalf of all of us. We really appreciate that. It's awesome innovation. Chris says, hey guys, I hope all's well for Unstaking Team. Must you claim all the rewards before you restake, or can you just roll it over? You don't have to claim the rewards before you stake. The claiming is separate from staking. If you want to roll your team forward that you got as rewards, then claim the team rewards, and then end your stake, and then stake it all as one. Crypto Gains Club, thanks for joining us. All right, you all. We'll be back later. See you in a little bit.